how difficult is that for a school when they aren't ready for this, to all of a sudden jump into an online world? They send their kids off and don't get to really talk to them before they do this.
Colleges and universities have been just completely overwhelmed with the response to what's happening now. I think what they would say is that in March, they felt like it was a response to a disaster. So it was unprecedented, it was chaotic. They didn't have the information they needed as they sent their students home to work on online classes. And the first thing they were trying to solve is, how do we continue to give our students an education when they're not on our campus? But the second wave of that is that you don't have community. So if you think about all of the things that you loved about college, your Res Life experience, all of those student activities, the things that you did in between those classroom experiences, then all of a sudden our colleges and universities were faced with, how do we provide community for our students when they're not on campus together? We asked them things like, what's been the hardest thing for you about not being on campus? And what's been the most challenging thing for you about online classes? Who's going to be a great resource for you in this challenging time? But then we also wanted to make sure that we understood the specific difficulties that they were facing as they were having to transition to at home.
26% of the students said that they had internet access concerns. If you think about moving to an online environment and so much is dependent on internet access, that's going to be a really significant challenge each of our schools has to help our students overcome. But then it becomes really kind of heartbreaking when 10% of college students said they had food insecurities or concerns about how they were going to eat every day. This is a very difficult experience for the students, and I'm sure it's been a difficult experience for the professors of the classrooms too, as you just have this whole new level of challenges for the students.
Online learning makes it harder to understand, learn, and retain information. Faculty are not instantly available to ask a question.
Right.
So I'm watching a video and my faculty member says something and I don't understand that. I don't have a good way to get clarification on that.
A way that faculty were overcoming this distance was to give more assignments as a way of measuring a student's engagement in the learning process. And really, when all of the classes started doing that, that's where students started to feel really overwhelmed.
So we're teaching them this process of find your students. How do we identify the students who are struggling most through the survey data? How do you connect them with somebody? So who is somebody at the institution that they've already have that touch point relationship with? How do you continue to support that relationship? Our schools are really having to re-recruit students because there's a chance that students will not come back. They might pick another school closer to home. They might decide, I don't want to travel back to that school, or the school didn't do a good job of taking care of me in this time. And so schools have to be super intentional this summer of being connected to their students and re-recruiting them to come back. At the same time, they have fewer people working. So a lot of times you have summer contracts where people are not working over the summer. So with fewer resources, they're having to go and be connected to students in a time when normally they aren't having to pursue them.